Cristina Uriarte is...
Cristina Uriarte is Basque Government Commissioner for Science, Technology and Innovation. Ms. Uriarte has a PhD in chemical science and was formerly the regional Basque Minister for Education, Language Policy and Culture. Science, technology and innovation are key activities through which to respond to the major challenges facing Basque society. And it is Cristina Uriarte's self-confessed mission to promote and foster them. Her title, her presentation's title is Facing the Future of Euskadi, the Transformative Path of Research and Innovation.
Arratsaldeon, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here with you today. In this festival, who wants to foster passion for knowledge. My last birthday, a friend called me on the phone and said, I'm going to give you a present for your birthday. You're going to participate in Passion for Knowledge. As you may imagine, I accepted that invitation happily. Of course, you cannot refuse a good present, and I believe really it was a good present. I'm honored to be here with you today. And since I'm here, I'm going to start my presentation. I'm a Commissioner for Science and Technology at the Basque Government, and I would like to talk to you today about how we face the future of Euskadi from the research, or on the basis of research and innovation. This is a huge challenge. Our daily job is shaped by the scientific and technological breakthroughs that have grown exponentially in the 20th century. At the same time, in a society where we have strong currents of opinion that are fast or quickly disseminated. Are we fully aware of the decisive role that science has to play in progress? I'm afraid my presentation is not working, is it? Margaret Thatcher, that had studied chemistry in Oxford, was very sensitive to the role that politicians should have to play in this field. And in one of her speeches, she mentioned William Gladstone, Prime Minister in the UK in the late 19th century. Gladstone, when he met Faraday, he asked him if the work he was carrying out in the field of electromagnetism would be useful, because at that time he wouldn't see the usefulness of his work. And Faraday replied, yes, sir, one day, sir, you're going to be raising taxes for this. And that was the case. Technology behind electric cars is attributed to Michael Faraday's work, who discovered electromagnetic induction. Science has a long-term vision. It is a long way with a vision on the future. Can we there are more and more institutions and research centers that are fostering communication and dissemination of science and scientific culture. There are conferences, events, festivals like the one today prove this is so. At the same time, this is one of the signs of identities ever since the origins of the DIPC, and this is due to our passion and their passion for knowledge and for science. Which enables us to understand the beauty of science. And this is all thanks to people that have a dream and that work really hard to make that come true. People, institutions that support them, because collaboration, partnership for the common good is a Basque sign of identity. It's part of our DNA. I would like to quote Pedro Miguel Echenique. In the Basque Country, we take science very seriously, and this is why science has evolved in the past decades spectacularly. But before we go down that path of research in science, since we are in San Sebastian, I would like to quote Pedro as well. Again, all the waves in the sea owe their beauty to the profile to those that precede them. So we build on what others have done before us, because we believe in it, because we're motivated, we're passionate for knowledge and for the beauty of science. What are the keys of progress? As well, if it were a recipe, we need to take into consideration everything we learn at home, from our grandmothers, from our predecessors. What are the key elements of progress? If we look at the thermodynamics, which could be applied to the culinary world, the first principle we need for progress is science. This is key and essential. Without science, there's no progress. This is a necessary condition, but not enough. We also need to establish a second principle. We need a whole series of elements with a whole series of key ingredients that enable us to make headway. We need people. We need people with a vision, people that will be leaders, that are talented. We need infrastructure, organizational, scientific, technological infrastructure. We need institutional support. We need policies, leadership, strategies, investment. And we also need to socialize and share all this. In my presentation, we'll see that these key elements are essential for our recipe. Having said this, let's get started. If we go back in history, we can mention the Royal Seminary of Vergara, created by the Royal Basque Society of Friends of the Country in 1779. This is where the Eluyer brothers isolated tungsten in 1783, the only element found in Spain, and also why the Royal Society of Physics named Vergara a historical site because it was fundamental for the progress, human progress. These are milestones for us, and they helped us walk down the path of research. From then on, the University of Deusto was founded in the engineering school in Bilbao, of the University of Bilbao in 1968, just to mention a milestone of the history of science and technology in the Basque Country. With the approval of the Guernica Statute and the creation of the first autonomous Basque Government in 1979, the new Basque policy of science and technology started, regardless of the political parties in the administration. This autonomous Basque Government, the regional Minister for Education, Mr. Pedro Miguel Echenique, established the main lines of scientific policy. And out of the measures that were approved then, I would mention just two. The pre- and post-doctoral scholarships that are still key in our scientific policy in the Basque Country, and then the promotion and protection of technology centers. This first Basque government took the necessary steps towards the creation of the first scientific and technology park in 1989. In 1980, the University of the Basque Country was created in all three Basque provinces. In 1985, the power on education was devoted to the Basque Country. We didn't have at the time any tradition, but the university, the Basque Public University, is a reference. It is the institution that contributes the most to scientific production, participating in more than 56% of the publications and papers in the Basque Country. So training, research, dissemination of knowledge, that is essential to foster culture, the Basque language, gender equality. All these are missions inherent to a public university. This is what identifies it as one of the main stakeholders for the development of the Basque Country. So back then in 1980, we were in a situation of crisis concerning the economic structures. The expenditure on R&D on our GDP was 0.06%, and in Spanish state it was 0.39%. And with the creation of the new Basque government, we tackled a new industrial restructuring process with a policy based on innovation and technology, based on consensus, political and social consensus. This moment was a milestone. It was the beginning of the evolution of the growth of science and technology in the Basque Country, which has led to being an excellent and innovation hub. And we are a high innovation region in Europe, according to the Regional Innovation Scoring. So, here we can identify a number of different milestones. Between 1980 and 1996, new policies were developed based on the supply. We laid the foundations and infrastructure of the new economy that arises from the economic and social restructuring of the Basque Country. New technology centers were created where there is collaboration, there are synergies among stakeholders. Technology centers were essential. They were a main feature of this first period. We need to say that scientific and technological policies have two different paths. The first one is concentrated on the productive tissue, and the second is led by the Regional Ministry for Education. It focuses on the university and basic research, with research based on or aimed at fostering research, basically. In the late 90s, we had a combined supply and demand policy with some main features here, Science and Technology Plan for 1997 and 2000, and the Innovation and Science and Technology Plan from 2001 to 2004, with greater integration of technology and innovation. In 1997, the Basque Network for Technology was created, including the university and the technology centers. And new technology programs and research programs were started. Although the university planning law wasn't passed until 2004, there was a previous law passed in 1998, and this helped us to foster new policies concerning funding based on objectives. Later on, when the law on the university system in the Basque Country was passed, we had the necessary tool to develop new strategic lines for research and funding. In the early 2000s, the new collaborative research centers were created for collaboration in the field of research and science. The CIC Biogune was created in 2003, acknowledged as an excellent center, and CIC Biomagune was created in 2005. Another milestone was in 1999, where the DIPC was created in the Basque Country as a result of a public-private partnership that is in close interaction with the University of Basque Country. In 2008, it became a BERC, and later on it was acknowledged with a certificate Severo Chair. What does the DIPC mean for us? In its 20 years of history, it's worked together with local and international institutions, enabling to disseminate science developed in the Basque Country all over the world. It has been a driving force for technology and innovation in the Basque Country. Its production represents 6% of the whole of the production in the Basque Country. The DIPC is committed to scientific excellence. It has highly qualified scientists, and it develops many different projects. They've been very passionate in the organization of this Passion for Knowledge Festival. As Sidney Brenner said, progress in science depends on new techniques, new discoveries, and new ideas, probably in that order. Brenner was interested in science to solve problems, and the relationship between science and technology is a very close relationship, and it's bidirectional, from science and technology, and also from technology to science, because technology is key to generate and develop science. In 2006-2015, we have a policy in the Basque Country that is based on results. The 2010 Basque Plan for Science, Technology and Innovation was passed, and in 2007, the University Plan 2007-2010 was established, aimed at developing science and disseminating science in Europe. I would also like to mention a milestone here, the creation of Ikerbasque, and that was back in 2007. This Ikerbasque is the Basque Foundation for Science, and its main activity consists of the recruitment of excellent research personnel, the creation, management, and development of new BERC research centers. In these 16 years of activity, Ikerbasque has become a benchmark in attracting scientists and in promoting research. The Basque Government, through Iker Basque, has promoted the creation of a network made up of 9 BERC, Basque Excellent Research Centers, that receives 12 million euros in funding every year. 4 of these centers have obtained the Severo Ochoa and María de Maestro certificates of excellence. Iker Basque is aimed at attracting and retaining highly qualified international researchers whose values are aligned with the Basque principles and values concerning R&D. We also need to retain talent. We need to attract talent and also retain local talent, right? We need to repatriate talent, retain it, and recruit it. We now have 345 researchers in the Basque network. All the stakeholders of the network can recruit researchers, including the R&D units in the different companies. If we look at the activity of Iker Basque over the past few years, well, we see here some facts and figures. 335 million euros, that is the return on investment achieved since 2007. That is 2 euros per every euro that is invested in them. Scientific papers are also essential in this field, and Iker Basque has contributed to so that 8,000 papers can be published in the Basque Country. It needs to be highlighted that many of these steps have been possible little by little, but we didn't have the power in the Basque Country concerning scientific and technological research until 2009. Ever since it was created, the Basque Government decided that it would invest in science and technology. And this has been so. In 4 decades, Basque Country has become one of the autonomous communities that invest the most in science and technology. There are some key elements for this: continuity of policies, collaboration, public and private partnership, and a commitment to a continuous investment. Well, which are the main results of this strategic commitment over time? In 1981, there was almost no investment at all in the Basque Country. In 2000, we were already investing 619 million euros. In 2022, we invested almost 1.8 billion euros. So, over the past 21 years, we've tripled our investment in R&D. From 0.06% of investment over GDP, in 2021 we were already in 2.21 compared to 2.26% in the EU. Our goal is 3% in a few years' time. Over the past few years, and up until 2020, we moved forward in this more smart specialization strategy defined by Europe. This will enable the Basque Country to move forward towards a knowledge-based economy, towards a society that will demand economic value and produce knowledge. In our case, what is smart specialization all about, this RIS3? Well, the translation of RIS3 strategy in the Basque Country is quite clear. We've applied the RIS3 methodology on the basis of our scientific and technological capabilities and taking into consideration our business capabilities. And based on that, we're going to define some specialization, smart specialization processes and strategies. With this RIS3 strategy, we want to contribute to develop R&D further in our territory. In 2020, WHO declared a pandemic. This was a completely new situation with social, economic, and health consequences and emotional consequences. The pandemic led to incredible challenges for science and technology. The management systems had to adapt themselves very fast. Such a crisis means challenges in the international networks for cooperation and research that have fostered international cooperation and partnership. Science has been paramount in the resolution of the crisis of COVID-19. This resulted in a proliferation of scientific news published in the media. This crisis has taught us many things. One of the lessons we've learned is the need to increase our investment in science, technology, and innovation in a sustainable way over time from an approach based on collaboration and partnership. COVID was a milestone concerning research and also for the dissemination of science. It needs to be said that it has shown the need to face anti-scientific movements that have very deep negative consequences that we cannot ignore. Currently, we have no doubt about how important and key research is for science and for the well-being of our society. Let's have a look at some facts and figures. Over the past few decades, many studies, many papers have been published that prove the relationship between R&D and the economic wealth. That is, between the wealth of the nations and the wealth of knowledge. Here we can see the correlation existing between R&D investment and the economic wealth measured in GDP per capita, with data coming from Eurostat for a broad set of countries in the EU. So, in the coming years, we will have a Basque Plan for Science, Technology and Innovation. With this plan in the Basque Country, we want to build a better future. Our vision is that the Basque Country will be one of the most advanced regions in Europe in 2030, with a high living standard and high quality jobs. Looking at the new Horizon Europe framework program, and here we have three strategic pillars and one key element. The first pillar would be the scientific excellence, the second, technological and industrial leadership, the third, open innovation. And of course, couldn't be otherwise, the main element here is talent. These four elements are key, essential, and need to contribute in a balanced way so that the outcomes of research can be transformed into social and economic results. So this approach integrates basic research oriented to developing new knowledge, applied research and innovation oriented to contributed to our leadership and the improvement of international competitiveness of our productive fabric. In our plan for 2030, we have some smart specialization areas. This has been influenced by general global trends like transitions, digital transition, environmental transition, and technology transition. If we take into consideration our scientific, technological and business capabilities, our specialization fields would be intelligent industry, clean industries, and customized health services. And we also have four fields of opportunity: healthy food, innovation, sustainable cities, and creative Basque Country. This is a shared structure where public institutions participate together with companies, universities, technology centers, scientific centers, and social and economic stakeholders. We need to work together also to foster a binomial knowledge plus innovation to the service, at the service of the improvement of our global competitiveness. To develop this strategy, this plan, and keep moving forward, we still need one more ingredient: economic resources. So we've seen the evolution of investment in the Basque Country since 1980, and as we've said earlier on, institutional support has been key and is still key. In our plan for 2030, Basque Government is committed to increase its funding by 6% every year up until 2030. As for the mobilization of public-private resources to fund our investment in R&D, and taking into consideration that the forecasts in the plan were carried out during the pandemic, we realized that we've achieved 1.6 billion euros in 2021, and as the Basque Institute for Statistics states, the R&D in the Basque Country increased by 9.1% in 2022, up until 1.8 billion euros. As you see, our support and commitment is essential and is key for the social and economic progress in the Basque Country.
So within this framework, and based on the work carried out over recent years, we can say that our science policy here in the Basque Country has two main areas. First of all, we want to move forward in the field of excellence by fostering capacities and also to generate knowledge and to transfer that knowledge. We live in a country in which scientific talent is unaware of itself. We need to help orient it. Ramon y Cajal said that the main role of a scientist was to foster enthusiasm among his disciples. He suggested that we should do that. Under the pseudonym Dr. Bacteria, he actually published many different books and papers in order to try to disseminate his knowledge. Talent is a scarce resource, and we need to foster young talent because they are the scientists of tomorrow. Many of you are here today. And on Monday, when we were giving the prize, the ICABASC prizes to women scientists, the youngest of the prize winners said that passion for knowledge actually had an influence on her decision to dedicate her life to science, and that was a very moving moment for all of us. There are many different initiatives which have been set in motion by the Basque Government. We have the pre- and postdoc scholarships as well, and then we have the ICABASC program as well, industrial PhDs through Bikaintech, and also the different initiatives of the STEM Euskadi initiative. The main aim here is to foster scientific and technological education in all different levels and to excite a passion for knowledge and a scientific career among young people. The challenge of attracting talent is a global challenge, which is why we are working with a shared institutional outlook called Euskadi, or the Basque Country Talent. All of this serves to highlight the importance of education. General education enables basic competencies to be developed among young people. Just one fact and figure. In 2022, in the Basque Country, 56% of the population aged between 25 and 64 has an advanced level of education. As the Basque president said in his opening speech, people are at the center of our strategy. And I am convinced that over recent years we have made a major step forward in the science policy of this country, the Basque Country. We have a firm focus on people, talent, and their training, and we are moving forward towards generating new knowledge and transferring that knowledge. When we're talking about generation and transfer, we also need to talk about the socialization of science, or the humanization of science. There are two values that we have, two resources that we have in the Basque Country. We have Jakiunde on the one side. This is the Academy of Science, Art and Humanities. It's a place for us to sit together and to think about the major challenges facing society at the moment. And in the words of its founder, Pedro Miguel Echenique, it's an institution which helps to humanize our lives a lot more, thanks to the collective work which is carried out by all the people who are members of this association. We also have the University of the Basque Country Chair in Scientific Culture, which aims to democratize science and to promote a scientific culture in the Basque Country. It's an initiative which also helps us with the organization of the Passion for Knowledge Festival. Another step forward in science policy, looking to the future, and it's another turning point, is the ICUR 2030 strategy. The ICUR strategy puts science of excellence right at the centre as the driving force behind everything and aims to be at the forefront of scientific knowledge. It's a way of putting the Basque Country on the international map. Its aim is to generate avant-garde knowledge in certain scientific niches which are linked to the RIS3 strategy, to put us on the map as a hub and a benchmark in these areas. And then to use that knowledge for industrial development. The aim is to orient our research towards the priorities of our country through the RIS3 strategy, through basic research which will have an impact on science and industry. As you can see on this screen, there are 4 different areas that we're focusing on, and they are led by the BERC Center. We have neurobioscience, quantum technologies, we have nutrients, and we have high-performance computing and artificial intelligence. And what are the keys of the ICUR strategy? Well, we want to be excellent in cutting-edge research, and there ICUR Basque leads the way. We want to make sure that we have unique scientific infrastructures, for example, the Criben microscope, which is the most advanced one in Southern Europe and enables us to determine the structure of different biological samples, for example, the COVID-19 virus, and will enable us to develop drugs in order to combat these different diseases. The third key is the connection between people in order to create international networks. More than 50% of publications we have today are actually done in collaboration with some of the leading research centers in the world, and then the internationalization of science and technology. To just finish, and by way of example, I would like to talk to you about a very important project. One of the emblematic areas of ICUR has to do with quantum technologies and is led by the DIPC. Now, this is a very important area which has been talked about a lot during the course of this festival. The aim is to create an ecosystem for research, talent and innovation in quantum technologies with a sufficient critical mass and with good international connections so that it can become a magnet for the best researchers from all over the world and to develop different business opportunities. Right from the initial design of the strategy, we realized that we could have a very good physical infrastructure and that we needed a physical infrastructure in order to develop this in the Basque Country. So we set up that center last March. We presented the project Basque Quantum, which is a research center focusing on quantum technologies and quantum science in the Basque Country. We will be soon be having the IBM Quantum System 1 computer, which is the second quantum computer to be set up in Europe. And it's part of the international network set up by IBM.
Partekatzea. Etorkizunari ilusio zeltzea. Badakigu non gauden eta norantz joan nahi dugun. Euskadik baikortasunez begiratzen dio etorkizunari. Bizitza hobea izateko itxaropenez, gizarte oparo baten aldeko apustu irmoa eginez. Kohesiorako giltza izango den gizarte ongizatearekin. 40 urtez, zientziaren, teknologiaren eta berrikuntzaren alde egindako apustua da horren berme. Ibilbide honek, bikaintasuneko polo bihurtu du Euskadi, berrikuntza maila handiko eskualdea Europan, eta etengabe guztiontzako onura bilatzen ibiltzeak, erakundeak, lurraldeak eta sektore publiko zein pribatua elkartu ditu. Somos una sólida comunidad científica a la vanguardia de diversos campos de la ciencia y tecnología, apoyada en un sistema universitario vasco consolidado, con una rica diversidad de agentes y programas de investigación e innovación para apoyar a un tejido industrial y económico dinámico, competitivo y altamente internacionalizado. Somos, en definitiva, una sociedad preparada para poder contribuir, junto con los mejores actores internacionales, a resolver los desafíos globales, para afrontar retos como la revolución cuántica. IBM, líder mundial en computación cuántica, ha apostado por Euskadi como aliado para adentrarse en un nuevo paradigma que está llamado a cambiar el mundo. Euskadi acogerá el IBM System One, el 6º centro de computación cuántica del mundo, en una red internacional liderada por IBM y que tendrá su sede en el nuevo edificio ICUR Basque de Donostia. Porque los retos son complejos y juntos se puede llegar más lejos. Erakundeen inplikazioarekin, Euskadik komunitate kuantiko bat edatuko du, oinarrizko ezagutza eta aplikazio praktikoak sortuko dituena. Talentu kuantiko ikertzailea sortuko du, konputazio kuantikoaren potentzial guztia zabalduko duten profesionalak trebatuz, eta Europa hegoaldeko ikerketa eta berrikuntzarako barruti kuantiko bihurtuko da, enpresa eta negozio berriei bultzada emango dien ekonomia publiko-pribatua sustatuz. Euskadi tiene visión, ambición y estrategia. Tiene pasión por descubrir, por conocer, por crear, por educar, por emprender, por innovar. Euskadi es Basque Quantum.
Como han visto en nuestro...
So, as you can see in that very intense journey, we have built some very solid groundwork. As the Basque president said in the opening speech, these are landmarks which enable us to show what we can do in the field of research. And I'm going to finish by quoting Stephen Hawking. Science is not only a discipline of reason, it's also a discipline of romance and passion. So let's keep passion for science alive. Thank you very much.